brace yourself because we're going to talk about Saudi and China.
Okay, I'm going to mute
Saudi Arabia,
my earphones. You go right ahead. Talk about Saudi Arabia and China all you want.
Well, Saudi Arabia is setting its sights on the Chinese outbound tourism market as part of its strategy to transform the kingdom into a global tourism hub. And this is according to Skift. I think there was an interview with the Minister Al-Khateeb talking, or if it wasn't an interview, it was at least a report talking specifically about this. And there's also, I think Saudi Arabia has a pavilion in China at the moment where they're trying to market, the different Saudi tourism destinations. It's a pretty exciting thing. I mean, that the Chinese really like to travel and see the world, and why not come to Saudi Arabia, which is supposed to be one of the most exciting new untapped tourist destinations in the world. Regular listeners and viewers know this well. Saudi Arabia wants to be a world-class tourism destination. We've talked about it so many times. And in the interview with Al-Khateeb, actually it was an interview, he spoke about how China is a huge market, discussed outbound traveling Chinese citizens can contribute to the goals of Saudi boosting its tourism market. And apparently last year, 120 million Chinese traveled. This year, that number is expected to reach 140 million. And next year, they're focusing on a record 150 million. So Saudi's identified an opportunity to attract 20 to 25% of Chinese tourists who take mid to long haul flights. And Al-Khateeb said, we want to capture part of this big traffic. To tap into this market, Saudi has been actively promoting itself, as I mentioned, in China.
Yeah, we're going to need to do a deep dive from you, Dr. Hannah. His Excellency Al-Khateeb did a good interview, a really long interview that seemed to be widely popular in Saudi Arabia. It was in Arabic with another podcast. So that would be a good kind of deep dive to, listen to it and kind of distill it for our, English listeners here. I thought this was really interesting because he sort of it's not just like his comments on China and wanting to capture some of those outbound markets, which, all jokes aside, makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, a lot of Chinese are flying, around the world for tourism, and everybody knows, I think, that listens to this podcast, that Saudi Arabia really wants to compete with other destinations in the Gulf to be sort of the transit point for these traveling Chinese, and then also to, have them stay and check it out. And I can just tell you, as an American, visiting Saudi Arabia, highly recommend it. And I recommend it to everybody, even people that would seem like they may not, want to choose Saudi Arabia as their first destination overseas, but it is worth it. What I thought was interesting about His Excellency Khateeb's comments here is he sort of talks about a little bit of the future of Saudi travel and what he envisions for visiting Saudi Arabia and for visitors. He said that the ministry is exploring how technology can enhance the experience, especially in airports, which I feel like is a very disruptible space when it comes to having convenience and a enjoyable experience. He said, quote, "We want to digitalize the unnecessary, like the hassle of airports, while preserving the necessary human connections that are core to tourism. That includes concepts like biometric systems and unmanned transport, while allowing tourists to take in local culture and people." And then this is the quote that I thought was super interesting. He says, "I don't want to spend time in the airport. This is unnecessary." Right on. "Picking up my bag, it's unnecessary. Just put in a chip, let the bag be delivered to your hotel." I'm like, yeah, of course. But of course, I mean, I feel like Saudi Arabia can be disruptive in the tourism market if they embrace technology in this way. And that would make a difference for people visiting. I mean, word would get out. Did you know that when you fly to Saudi Arabia, your bag will be waiting for you at your hotel? Things like that. And I think he's a bit of a visionary when it comes to this stuff. It was kind of cool to have him spell that out to Skift when he was in San Francisco very recently.
So the worst part of traveling is waiting for your bag. He's so spot on with this. And sometimes you go through immigrations really quickly and then you end up spending forever just waiting for your bags. This is something that happens at Heathrow all the time. And I just stand there and it's there's 2 other flights ahead of me and I can see that it's just their bags coming out and my bags haven't even started being loaded onto this stupid conveyor belt or whatever it's called. And it's just the worst. So yeah, why not? Honestly, like we should definitely embrace tech in those ways. We talk about how we can really embrace it for the betterment of everybody's life experiences. Like this is such a no-brainer. I love that.
That's the worst part of traveling to you. I mean, I think I'd probably, at this point, I would put, first of all, I don't really check bags that much. Like even when I'm going to Saudi for like 2 weeks, I'm like anything above the carry on like big duffel and then the like rolling thing. That's all I need. I don't know. I mean, I'm a man, so I don't have like a lot of extra accessories really to bring, but I would say it's, for me, and we've talked about this way too much, but it's the internet like on a long flight. And it's like, it feels like it's like being operated by two mice that are spinning a small wheel around and nothing loads. And it's just a huge waste of time to me. We've already debated this, but I feel like that's the worst thing. There's a lot of bad things. Like honestly, it's a long list.
There's a lot you can get done on an airplane if you prepare, and internet is a distraction sometimes to, kind of deep work. And so I feel like the plane is a great place for deep work. And when my internet's not working, I kind of just like turn off the phone and I'm like, it's not working. It's slow. It's not loading. I've already downloaded like a few things that I need to work on. I'm going to do my deep work and it's okay. You can be so productive on a plane. So it's not the worst thing for me. Waiting for bags is pretty bad. And I've gotten really good at doing carry-ons, but hey, so have you ever taken the wrong bag off of the
No, but I'm so terrified of somebody taking my bag. Like that's my biggest fear about traveling, except for death, is that somebody's just gonna come along and just like yank my suits that I need that night. And I'm like, okay, hey everybody, I'm showing up in sweatpants at this meeting. Yeah.
So it's happened.
So
I've taken the wrong bag.
You've taken the wrong bag. So you're okay, go on.
Well, obviously, then I didn't have my bag either. So it was a really long time ago, and it's become a bit of it's become a sore kind of topic in an airport. Like when we're in a hurry, and like one of my family members is double checking the tags over and over and over again. And I'm like, we've already read it. It's definitely ours. But it's because of this one time.
What was in the bag? Whose bag did you get?
It doesn't even matter. I didn't open it. Like it was in Dubai. It was many years ago. And we get back to the hotel room and I like grab the bag and I put it on the like little like fold out thing where you can put your suitcase. It was a small bag. And I look at it and I'm like, oh, this is not my bag.
Oh my God, nightmare. When did you make this discovery? Was it like in the cab or was it in your room?
It was in the room. When I looked at it, I was just about to like reach for the zipper to open it. And I didn't even get that far. Like the second I looked at it, I realized it wasn't my bag.
Well, big mistake because if it's Dubai, it could have been a suitcase full of cash and you would have been really happy
I know.
with it.
Well, no,
Kidding,
I didn't want anything to do with somebody else's bag. So we go back to the airport and it was impossible to get back to the airport to talk to somebody about a bag once you're already out of it. Like it was really, 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 really hard to get back in, to find somebody to talk to, and our bag was there. And we're like, okay, well, like you guys need to call these people because this is not ours. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry to whoever's out there in the world. If your bag was taken once about 16, 17 years ago in Dubai and you never saw it again.
And they were just
I did take it back to the airport.
They were so happy to get their cash back. Yeah.
I don't know if they ever got it back, right? Like, I think like if you leave a bag for long enough, it just goes into a room and then eventually they incinerate them. I've heard this. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Just
you know what?
Check your tags.
Check your tags. Yeah, I've always wanted to put like a big yellow X on my like thing, I guess to like make it faster. A lot of times I check my bag so I don't have to like lug it around the actual airport, but it could go on the plane. I'm just like, And when I arrived to Saudi, it's like they do it really quick in Riyadh, at least. I mean,
they're good in Riyadh.
In DC, it's a completely different story. I've got the global entry, which is now an app, and I'm just like walking through the line, and there's a line of like 400 people trying to get in. I'm just like, hey, everybody.
Which is why you definitely want your suitcase in your hand, and you don't want to have to wait for it.
Yeah, so going back, right? I always try to keep it with me. Anyway, interesting story. I'm already a huge fan of this new news format. This is way more fun for us, at least. And now we're getting some
only
really
because
good.
I have a story about
Yeah.
taking somebody else's bag. It was so bad. So my mom puts little bows. She puts ribbons on the bags, different ribbons, different times. It really helps identify your bag. One of my bags has like a sticker on it from a different airport, and I remember that one. So I'm always like, it's definitely ours. Like I have our name on it and all of that and all the tags. And now I put Apple tags inside my bags as well. So if they don't show up, I know where they are. Or if I'm worried they're not coming out, I can see that they're already in the airport, whatever. So it really helps. But anyway, I love the idea of having it go straight to the hotel, so you don't have to worry about taking somebody else's bag.
Have you ever
or
done
someone else taking yours?
on just like on, because I feel bad we've gone like long on this. This is super interesting. Have you ever done Saudi Arabia's like VIP concierge service, Al Tenfithi?
At Tenfithi, once I've done it. It's not really my thing, but yeah, I've done it once.
Yeah, it's not my thing either.
It's not really.
But it's,
Really?
I thought that was like quite awesome. It's like you arrive in Riyadh. I think it was for a conference. Actually, it might have been for the same conference at which, no, that wouldn't make sense because I was already there. Anyway, but you like arrive, it's like a VIP thing. And then like, but you don't ever like see your bags. They're just like in the car. When you get into the car, they take you to to your hotel. It's nice. You know, if you have the means, yes, I recommend it. It's actually not that much money.
I've done it. I've actually been invited to it before. Like I haven't actually, paid for it. It's just like sometimes I've been traveling with somebody that has it or whatever.
And you're like best friend ever. Yeah.